Okay, good morning, bros. I know there's probably some more than bros that watch this, but I'm sure it's a very small percentage. Most of us are crypto bros. So this is a pretty good view to watch as we start here. I know we'd all rather be here than trading crypto, but hopefully this is the last cycle for a lot of us. Anyway, we're going to look at some things that'll help you reach that end, hopefully. So let's get this off the screen. Let me make sure everything's working as it should be first. Okay, so I've got quite a few tokens to show you here. We'll go through them as fast as we can. And let's see. Let me verify that everything is working as it should be. Yeah, okay. So let's start out with Bitcoin probably, but before we do that, I just wanted to go through some news notes, some things that have happened over the last couple of days. I meant to get this video out earlier this week, but it didn't happen. There was actually a Memecoin launch that I didn't know I was going to be a part of that I'm going to show you here in just a second if you're interested in it. Some of you are already in it though. So let's see. If you're not following me on Twitter, it's Bike for Sale, @bike with the number 4, SAIL. And I noticed, or actually one of the members in my Discord, they talked about OPSEC here, how they had a partnership with IONET. So this is a pretty big deal. You may want to look into it. Just go on my Twitter here and click on it. But OPSEC had a huge following on the last bull leg up, before it kind of found its top and dipped. And then IONET just came out, just launched not too long ago. And it's all about, using people's GPUs as computing power. It's shared computing power, basically, which is smart. I mean, it's just being efficient, right? So, yeah, look into both of those tokens. It seems like they're going to be good projects to get into. Yeah, so CHOLO is the token. This meme coin was launched 24 hours ago, and let me just show you. So here's the Twitter @Sol Cholo Pepe, or a Peep, however you say it. And we really haven't worked very hard to get a lot of followers. I mean, that's not really the goal. Our goal was to build a solid base of people that wanted to be long-term holders, and then we were going to market it. And so the marketing is going to kick in probably 5 hours from now or something. And I think we're already about 1 million market cap or something like that. But it's got a really good backstory. If you go on the Twitter and you click on the website, it's got a really good backstory that was created, and the imagery for it. Let me find some of the images that I mean, it's just got like a real good vibe. It's like party vibe, or it's really born out of East LA. The person that created it, or created the visuals here for it, that person actually lived in that area of LA for a while. So, it means a lot to them. It's kind of like that token Turbo, where the creator was known for being a genuine person and had a lot of people that followed that person that, they trusted him. And that's where we're coming from. We're coming from a place of trust. A lot of people know us, the small team that we have, and our reputation means a lot to us. So, we really want to take this somewhere. That's our goal anyway. So, yeah, that's the Twitter of that one. You can go on here. It's got all the links up here, of course. It's even got a TikTok. Okay, let me move on from that. Yeah, I mean, on my Twitter here, you can also see like DEX Screener, things like that. And then we've got people like Dudonis, which is a good friend, and he's got quite a few followers as well. He's been posting about it, so he's in it as well. Let me see if there's anything. Oh yeah, so ZIL and Chili's, to a little bit higher market cap, like a mid cap. They started hitting buy zones recently, and I need to look at the chart again, but the point was, if you go on here on the Twitter, you can actually see where those buy zones were, and see if it's something you want to get into. I'm not in either token, by the way, just for full transparency. let's see. And then ISHI and JOTCHUA. I know a lot of you in Twitter or maybe on YouTube as well saw me talk about this. And I'll just go into it here real quick. ISHI is pretty much just going sideways still. Once it breaks out of this top line right here, once it breaks out of this consolidation, I think it could have a bigger pump. Maybe it'll even go back up to here where it was before, which would be, I don't know, like a 3 to 5x, something like that. I don't make any promises on these tokens because I don't know who runs these tokens. At least with something like, Cholo, with this one, I know the team that runs this one, and I'm part of that team. So, it's a little bit different when I don't know who's running these tokens. And so you've got JOTCHUA here, did break out of the, it's kind of like a falling wedge, more like a bull flag, I guess. But we really like these patterns in our Discord, and we got to break out. For whatever reason, it did a 5x just all of a sudden, like, what was that, 2 days after that breakout. So if you would have been watching this, I think this happened within 3 hours. You could have taken profit real quick and then just gotten back in, once it dipped down. But, I think there's a pretty good chance it will revisit that, at least this line right here. But, for now, it's doing some consolidating, going sideways, and it could consolidate longer. I really don't know what's going to happen with it. Okay, and let's see, what else do we want to talk about? Yeah, Cubic, Cubic's been, well, this is just about the wallet. If you missed this, make sure you go to the video and watch how to migrate your, and this is only if you use the Cubic web wallet. They set up a different wallet or a different site for it, so you have to do this. It really doesn't take that long, but you have to do that migration. And then Parsec, VPP, I've been talking about those lately. But anyway, let's jump into, and I'll talk about VPP and Parsec here in a second. Let's jump into Bitcoin. I've been showing this chart for many weeks now, where we have the volume profile. We've got the value area low, the point of control here in the middle, and then, well, almost in the middle, and then the value area high. And the idea was, if at some point, either on the daily or weekly, we had a full candle above the bullish line, which is the value area high there, then there was a pretty good chance we were going to break out and start that next bull leg up. But it hasn't happened yet. And we kept rejecting it. And really, if you think about it, this makes a lot of sense, because we were, aside from this sideways consolidation here, we were pretty much up only from, what, January 2023, from the bottom. So just keep that in mind. This thing did need a cool off, and these cool offs do tend to happen around presidential elections. If we're in a presidential election year, these mid-cycle cool offs do tend to happen around halving, where they start dipping around halving or just going sideways. So you got two things that can happen. Either it's going to dip more quickly, and let me find a good one for that. I mean, it did kind of right here. I think this was about a 30 to 40% dip back in 2016. So this was around halving. Election happened, 3 to 4 months after, I think November, July, yeah, something like that. And then you had the resumption of the bull market, where you just had like a first push, and then you had sideways consolidation for the most part, and then the final push. And you see it over and over. So here it is. I mean, sure, this was the Black Swan event. Everybody's probably tired of hearing about, but that happened right near the halving. And once that happened, it was really an overcorrection, right? So after that, after the halving, it just kind of went straight sideways, and then actually had a little bit of a pump because of this overcorrection right here. It had to make up that overcorrection. And then you had the resumption of the bull market. Notice how smooth this move was after this happened. It was still playing catch up from this overcorrection here. And on this one, back in 2017, it just kind of did a more, the more typical 30% corrections as it moves up. So we're going to see, I mean, if we're comparing which one looks the most similar, and it doesn't have to work out the same way, of course, but if we're just comparing which one of these three or which one of these two look most like the one we're in, then obviously we have to say, it looks more like 2017. So here, let me adjust something. I want to make sure this music kind of changed volume a little bit. So yeah, definitely looks more like 2017. Not saying it's going to follow it exactly. Here's a fact about this one versus the 2017. So we know this one was mostly 30% corrections, right, as things came up. Well, it's interesting that this current one that we're in, has been mostly 20% corrections. So now if we dive in closely to Bitcoin, and I've actually already talked about this previously, but if we look from the top to this dip right here, that's 23%. And if you go up every one of, or if you go down here and look at every one of these in the current cycle, it's about 20% on every correction so far. Even this one down here that went sideways. So, isn't that interesting that it worked out that way every single time? And that's why I was leaning more towards we're just going to go sideways for a while, and it needs some time to cool off. It needs some time to shake out the weak hands, bring in some new money. And sure, you can go into the ETF stuff all you want, but I'm telling you, these cycles, regardless of ETF, they all tend to rhyme in some respects. So we'll just have to see. I mean, I'm thinking that we're looking at, if I go back to the presidential chart, I'm thinking, initially I drew this about right at the halving, and I was thinking, it's mostly just sideways, could come down a little bit and touch this support at 42K, but that doesn't have to happen. Maybe it just goes sideways until the election for the most part. And maybe we pop out of here for a little bit and then go sideways again, or maybe we have a quick correction and then it comes right back up. So a lot of different things can happen. As we know historically, it's never going to look exactly the same. There's always going to be some kind of curveball that's thrown at us. So just remember to think from a sentiment standpoint. If you get something like an FTX crash, or if you get something like a, some really disturbing crypto news, then just understand that the bottom, if something like this does happen, that the bottom wouldn't be too far away. Because remember, they always want to make you fearful when you should be buying, and they always want to make you euphoric when you should be selling. So really, that's the way you should be trading. It's not necessarily so much about TA and charts. It's more about how the masses react to the emotions that they can't control. So anyway, that's kind of like getting into the matrix stuff, but let's start jumping into some of these tokens. And then I also definitely want to jump into smart money. I will timestamp all of this as usual, so if you want to jump around, it's up to you. But yeah, let's just start looking at these real quick. I want to go as fast as I can here. So VPP, I actually bought some of this, and I told my crypto group in Discord that I was buying right around 11 or 12 cents. And I said, what I'm doing right now, my mentality, and none of this is financial advice, by the way, I'm not financial advisor, all that. Just understand that I'm showing you what I'm looking at each day, and it's kind of like my trading journal. Yeah, so we got a rejection here at the bullish line. If it would have gotten above the bullish line with a daily candle, I would have been much more bullish immediately, because you can see this was, it's hitting up against here multiple times, and then it broke back through that, and then it fell again, back under this, which was support at one point once it did break through, but now it's turned into resistance again. So the new support line is right here, which is 0075. And I'm thinking about buying some here at support, but with the Cholo meme launch and everything, I've got some money into that, so I'm kind of watching that more right now. But I think there's some time still in VPP, and it could even dip down just a little bit more. If I was to drag a line down here, it could happen something like possibly even that. Because maybe it's going to come down and sweep the lows, sweep down here to the original breakout. But it's corrected enough, I think, after this breakout. So we'll just have to see. I do like the project, though. It's GambleFi. It's one of the better poker apps that you can, get together and play with friends, and everybody puts into the pool some kind of crypto token. You can choose which one, and then whoever wins, or top three, however you want to set it up like a tournament, they would get the winnings, however it's split up. And we're going to do a tournament poker tournament in our Discord group, which, by the way, if you're interested in the Discord or getting a discount on Nansen Smart Money app, it will be in the description below, so check that out. Or actually, the way YouTube has it set up, I think the description's on the side of the window now, which I really don't like. Maybe they'll change that back. Okay, so be thinking about real world assets as we go forward. And right now you should be buying discounts, basically, as your token is down 70% or 90%, whatever it is. If you like the project, if you have a good feeling, always use your intuition, your gut. But if you have a good feeling about it, then right now is when you want to accumulate. And that's what I was going to get at earlier about VPP, is I'm telling the Discord group that I run, I'm getting in slowly, because I kind of feel like there's going to be a few more months of sideways, although I think there is a little bit of a chance that July could be bullish. Right now, it just seems like memes are the only things that can be, well, I don't want to say trusted, but they're the only things that are consistently making money for people right now. It seems like, all the mid caps, low caps, high caps, even Bitcoin is just going sideways. So, attention is on memes right now, definitely, as far as the narrative goes. And so you've got, this is a real world asset token. I think it's just as good as AI narrative, maybe even better. It just depends on what happens the rest of this cycle with the whole BRICS nation thing. Eventually the dollar is going to go away, it seems, or maybe not go away, but it's going to lose its value on the market at a much higher rate. Although we know we've lost, here in the US, we've lost a lot of value in our dollar. Anyway, it's more of an invisible loss of value because it's not real money, not real currency, not real money, however you want to say it. Okay, so this is ZEND, XEND. It's got a real, it's got a good ticker, RWA. So if the RWA narrative kicks off and people start searching RWA, this may be one of the first ones they come across. So that's just another little thing to think about on this one particularly. But it's also a high conviction on our research spreadsheets in our Discord group, where we did a lot of deep dive research and found what we feel are going to be the plays that will do well on this next bull leg up. And the reason for that is they have partnerships. They have venture capitalists that are, invested in it. Maybe the team is doxed. These are some of the things that we look at. So yeah, this, you can kind of look and see where the take profit area is and support. It's kind of close to support. But, the way I'm looking at these, just to get into the value portion, it's down 80%. If it's down 50 to 70 to 90%, that's when I start saying, well, look at all the value that's in this token. If it was to take off, look how much money you can make going back up. It could be 3x, 5x, 10x, could be even more than that. I'm not going to throw any numbers out there and tell you I for sure think something's going to hit a number, because I don't know. All I do know is I try to buy for value, and that way if it goes up, I'm going to make a lot more money as it comes back up after losing so much value before. Here is Parsec. I had drawn this where it's kind of doing inverted head and shoulders, and RSI is still bearish currently, but I think there's a chance it could hold support here, and if it does, this is a very good buying opportunity. I bought some here, and I think I bought a little bit more as it dipped. I'm not real big about DCAing. The only reason I bought it a couple of different times is because I felt like it might be slowing down as far as the finding support, and I knew that this low swept right here, like a like crossing the river on Wyckoff. It's kind of like just sweeping the low. So it was a quick move down and came right back up, and I'm hoping this support holds. But the reason why these lines are important to me is, you want to buy as close to them as you can, and if if you get a daily close below it, you could just get out and then get back in if it gets above support. So it saves you money, just in case there's a longer downtrend. I'm not saying that these are going to hold for sure. It could come down, I don't know. But that's good money management. That's good risk management. All right, so here's a higher cap. I don't really play render. I mean, you could probably tell just by looking at, I don't have a support text here or bullish above here. I guess I could put that though. Currently what you're looking at is, for render, it needs to hold above this line right here. So it's bullish above this line. If you get a daily or a weekly close below that, it's at least coming to here, in my opinion. And I think there's a little bit of a chance it could have come here. And I know a lot of people would say, well, you know, I just can't imagine it going down that far. But that's 82% after, what, a 29x since January 2023. I mean, this one's done really well, and it's barely had a pullback at all. If we turn off Engineering Robo AI, you'll see, and this indicator package, by the way, it is being released this week, I believe. As soon as it's out, I'll do a video on it. You know, some of you I know are interested in it, but you don't have to buy it. I mean, you can do your own support resistance lines and use free tools if you want. But if you look at this, you know, what do you see? For me, I see that it did a lot like what Bitcoin did. You know, it looks very similar. Of course, we're looking at a monthly chart here. But, you know, notice how it kind of did the exact pattern Bitcoin did, and it currently is. And that's what these higher caps do. They mimic Bitcoin a lot. So, you know, it really depends on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin just goes sideways, then this one will probably go sideways. If Bitcoin dips some more, then that'll happen. Okay, I got a question here. Hang on one second. Somebody in the Cholo meme telegram's asking something. Okay, what else do I want to talk about? So that's render, and currently what it's showing on the daily on Engineering Robo is, we'll just call this support while that's loading. Yeah, it is showing bearish, which is exactly what it's showing for Bitcoin right now as well. You know, if we jump back over here real quick. Well, it's, what do I have this on daily? It's not quite bearish yet. You know, it had an AI buy signal, but on Engineering Robo AI, and I'll show this in a future video, if it turns gray like this, it's kind of like a warning, hey, watch out. You know, it could be turning bearish soon. But yeah, Bitcoin definitely has to get back above the support. There's a lot of volume right here. The buyers and sellers are playing tug of war right here at the POC, and that's basically what POC is for, is to let you know that you know, there's a lot of buys and sells happening here, and whoever loses the tug of war there, then it's going to go down to the next line, or it's going to go up to the next line. Okay, ORAI, render. Okay, so let's move to ORAI. This was another, actually, I forgot to mention this. I am a contributor for Braver Discord, just so you know. I do TA for them, you know, just when I have time. If people request things, I do TA. So let's see, do I have that other thing opened? So these were some, the reason I mentioned that, these were some requests from the Braver group, from some of the members, Render, ORAI, DNX, and OCTA. And that's why I'm going over these specifically. And then we're going to jump into smart money. And I know I'm spending a lot of time on this, so we need to rush through it. You can pause the video here if you want and just look at the TPs. I've already set it up for you. And the person that requested these knows who I'm talking to. But I think the most important level in this case would be this support line for sure. I haven't really put a fixed volume on this. Let's see, where do I want to put it? Maybe there. I mean, it could come down to 230 first down here at this POC, or like $4 or something. But the reason why this is really important is because if you look at this sideways range that it was able to get up above, this is the value area high right here where I have the support line. And sometimes fib levels, did I just say fib levels? Fib levels, they're important as well. You know, if they match up with the value area high or the POC, it's just an extra confirmation that there's a lot of volume that's taking place in that area. And it's a very important area, of course. So anytime you get above value area high, you have to hold that, or you're going to come right back down to POC, or one of these areas that there was more volume. So I would say at minimum, if you lose this value area high, it's at minimum coming down to like $4. So those are the lines that I would watch for there. And we could go down to a much lower time frame and look at volume profiles on that as well. But the main thing is you're looking where to buy, where to sell. You're below the bullish line, so there's really no reason to buy right now. I would wait and see, is it going to come to support? Is it going to come a little bit lower? That's your value area that you want to be buying down there. Don't be buying up here. Of course, if you would have seen this and it got above the bullish line with a full daily candle, you would have been like, okay, I'm in. But as soon as it got back below, just get out. In my case, that's what I would have done. Save yourself a lot of downside. It can fake you out. I mean, you're not always going to get in and it just take off. So there is a little bit of a head and shoulders look to this, but it's not perfect. So the target of that head and shoulders, which I don't have this exact. Anyway, it would be over TP2. It'd be above TP2 regardless. So maybe that's the final target for the bull market. I don't know. But if you did buy here and it did make it up there, on these mid to high caps, and I'm just assuming ORAI is like a mid cap, it could be a low. But I would think 10x minimum on a lot of these if we have the usual bull market, and 20x is very possible. So not all of them are going to do it, but we have noticed that during bull markets, during the uptrends, it seems to lift all ships, right? The water lifts all the alts, brings them all up to, catch up with Bitcoin, I guess is the best way to put it. All right, here's DNX. There is an AI buy signal on it currently. I think the ideal place to be buying is right here at the bullish line, and then if a daily candle closes below, you can just get out and then buy back here at support. And then if for some reason that support line gets lost, which I doubt it does, but it could happen, then you would just get out until it reclaimed the support line, and that'll save you a lot of money. Mostly just sideways since July 2023. I mean, when this thing takes off, it could be a pretty explosive move. So I can't remember if I'm in this one or not. I'm in one similar to this name. I may be in this one. Yeah. Yeah, so, just treat it like sideways action until, it really gets going, but it could definitely come down here to the bullish line and even the support. And then OCTA, this one's been, for the most part, up only. It reminds me a lot, I think, of Caspa, maybe. Yeah, one of those tokens that just kept going up, really. So I would be careful with this one. It could be a macro wise, and I'm having trouble with words today. I was about to say rising wedge. So it could be a macro rising wedge where it just, notice how the momentum does seem to be slowing down. These impulses seem to be getting less and less. So, yeah, I mean, you've even got a bearish divergence there where momentum coming down while price is coming up, price action's coming up. So yeah, I'd be a little bit careful with this one. I mean, if it loses this line right here at 160, then, it's either coming down to here or here with the outside chance of coming back to 71 cents, which would be, yeah, I mean, it could definitely hit 71 cents too, right? It's only a 60% drop. And I'm not talking bad about anybody's token. If you're in this one, I mean, you've probably made some profit, but just remember that no token is safe. Try to draw you some trend lines or draw your support resistance lines at the very least. And if you have a daily close below that area, maybe it's time to consider that it could go down lower, is all I'm saying. It's just as important to protect profits as anything else. All right, so let's jump into Nansen and just see. I'll look at hot contracts, I'll look at signals. Let's just see if there's anything out there that looks interesting today. Okay, signals. So first signal we're going to look at, Is this the correct one? They kind of changed some things. They're always adding new, they actually got an AI signal thing that kind of, it learns which tokens you like to look at, and it'll develop, maybe you like to look at low caps only. It'll develop it so that it just shows you the things that you enjoy looking at, which I don't know, why is it showing me ETH? You can actually dislike it or hit this X and say that you're not interested in this token, and so it'll never show me ETH again. But you can also turn this off and look at the normal one, and what we're looking for is the multiplier. We're wanting to see if there's any token that has a DEX outflow. Actually, I need to change this. Okay, so all signals is on right now. I just want to look at smart money. So we're just looking at smart money token flow. Let's see what they're getting into today. Some are taking profits into USDC, wrapped BTC. I'm looking for a really big multiplier here, at least like a 10x. So just bear with me as I scroll through some of this. And you know what? Something that'll save us time. I have these smart alerts already set up in our Discord. All right, so this is the Discord that I set up. And I know this may be hard to see, but what I've got here is multiple smart alert. And some of these are tests, by the way. I'm always trying to add something if it's worth looking into. If it's worth us to view it every day to see if what people are buying. And the reason, by the way, that smart money is so important to me, there's not many people that use it, in their groups like this. There's just a handful of us. The reason why it's important to me is it filters out the tokens that nobody is looking at. I use smart money as a filter, and then I go and look at the chart, and I might look at the project for fundamentals, but mostly the chart. And if it looks favorable, then I'm going to call it to the group and say, hey, check this one out, see if you might want to get into it. So I'm checking this every day, and they're able to check this as well. They're able to look themselves and say, okay, here's an example. Well, this is actually smart money selling. But these are curated wallets that we have that we know have been very profitable wallets, and we can trust most of these signals much more. I'm trying to find you one here. Let's see, Shesmu, that's a sell. There was one last night that I informed them about. And I need to filter out ETH. It was filtered out at one time, but somehow it turned off. Otherwise, we wouldn't get so many of these signals. I'll fix that later. Yeah, it's mostly selling right now. It seems like it's profit taking by smart money. Let's see, here's an example. So Pepe, one of our wallets bought it. This was yesterday or something? What is today? Oh no, it was 2 days ago they were buying it there. So these signals don't come through as much, but if you look at retail signals here, which is what I was just looking at on Nansen, this filters it out quicker for us, where I don't have to go on Nansen. I can just look in here and know, okay, AGIX has a DEX outflow, which we want to see outflow. That means it's going from the DEX exchange, the decentralized exchange, to that person's wallet. And volume is 4 times the recent average, so it's not great. But here's one called Leica. Oh, that's inflow, so they're actually selling on this one. So yeah, not a whole lot going on in signals today, I don't think. What is this one? IXS. We can look at AGIX. I really wanted to find a 10x, but we'll look at it here in a second. And let's just see if we can find anything else. It's kind of a slow day, really. There's some staking tokens here. I wouldn't really call that one that I'd be interested in. Toncoin, it's not enough of a multiplier. All right, let's look at something different then. Let's look at, I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's look at hot contracts. You can only get hot contracts access if you pay for the professional version of Nansen. If you are interested in that, the description is, the code for 10% off is in the description below, but it's based on the yearly. So here's how it works. If you don't have a Nansen account yet, then this code's going to work for you, but you have to pay the yearly to get the 10% off. If you do have an account, and you've never done a subscription, it'll also work for you. But if you have done a subscription before, you need to make a different account, because the 10% off isn't going to work unless one of those things, two things, is true. So basically, you can't ever have had a subscription before to take advantage of the 10% off. But basically, this is the main thing that you don't get with Pioneer, with the starter version of Nansen, which is great. I mean, you don't even need hot contracts, really. You can do all the research you need to do just with the Pioneer. This is for people that have a lot of money and don't mind spending it, because Pioneer, after the 10% discount for the yearly, is about $900. But this Pro version is, well, it starts out at $11,000, but with the 10% off, it ends up being $10,000, I believe, or right under that. And then you also get access to Nansen Alpha, which is Nansen's Discord channel, where there's a little bit more alpha for you there. But don't be spending a lot of money on that unless you just really have a lot to work with. But I'll show you. I'm going to show you how I search through this, and sometimes I can find really good tokens to get into early. So DSYNC was one of the ones that we got in on this one, and that was a 37x. If I search, I just want you to know that this is how I found DSYNC, is through hot contracts. I posted it on the day that I found it. I didn't even enter this token, by the way. I don't treat my Twitter or my group as a way for me to make money on trying to pump a token. That's not what it's about for me. I'm trying to get people in early as much as possible. So I had no idea this thing was going to do 37x when I posted this. I just thought it looked interesting, found it early. Some of our Discord members did get in early, so they made a lot of money off of it. And here's some updates. It was up to 33x at that point, but it went a little bit more. So I was doing updates on it as well. All right, so this is Singularity. Let me jump into this one later. Let me bring up some more tokens first, and then we'll jump into Singularity on that signal, because I definitely want to bring up some more of these before we get into that. Okay, I'm going to look at liquidity pool. We're going to see what liquidity pools are the most active over the last 24 hours. So these would be brand new tokens, basically, and that's what I like to find. Let's just see if there's anything interesting here. So there's definitely some smart money wallets already in it. Number of wallets isn't too high yet. I mean, you can tell that it's new, because I would say if it's under like 150 wallets, it's a really, really new token. Inflow is extremely high for these two. ZRO, maybe we'll look at ZRO. What is this one? I'm not too big on BNB, like BSC tokens, but I don't know, we could look at that since it has a high inflow. But it could have already taken off too. I don't want to get in one that's taken off too much either. WARPIE has an interesting name, but not great. I mean, really, you're looking for tokens that have an interesting name, I think, especially if they're meme coins. You want something that's going to get people excited. Xbear, Crow, BCAT. BCAT could be one. Of course, this is BNB. I'm not sure. You can actually filter it. Like if we want to just look at Ethereum, I need to put this back on though. And I know nobody likes Ethereum anymore. Okay, Zero is on Ethereum. Let's look at just Base and see what they got going on today. Contract type, liquidity pool. Okay, nothing on Base, but if we take off last 24 hours, we can see all of the tokens in the Base ecosystem that have the most activity over the last 24 hours. And I think this is based on TVL, yeah. So let's see what we got here. Bread, I mean, that's the usual degen. A lot of people jump in that one. I'd really like to find something newer though. Let's see. Let's see if there's what happened over the last 7 days, if any new token. Oh, ZRO, wow. Is that also on Base? Okay, that's interesting. So somebody launched it side by side. Oh, it's already up 300,000% for inflow anyway. Okay, we'll look at that here in a second. So that's Base. What else do we want to look at? Blast is something to consider. Blast ecosystem. I haven't really been playing any of these tokens, but it could get popular like Base did. I'm not sure. Last 24 hours. FD1, well, there's nothing really interesting there. ZK-Sync, that's a new one that launched. It's a high conviction token play on one of our spreadsheets. I think it's ZK-Sync. Well, nothing's coming up quickly, so let's look at, Sol's not on here yet, unfortunately. They're working on it, but I mean, imagine once Sol is on here, it's gonna be really easy to find good plays, because Sol is the most active regarding meme coins anyway. Well, let's do this. I mean, I know we could definitely use some more of these, but I think what I'll do instead, let's try to find a couple different signals, because this thing's getting really long, and then we'll jump into the tokens and look at them real quick. We'll go to Smart Money, we'll go to DEX Trades, and we're gonna go down here to Live DEX Trades and filter out to see what some high conviction purchases are today from Smart Money. Let me make sure this thing's working first. So you're getting an insight on how to do your workflow through Nansen to find good Smart Money plays. You know, I give this information away freely, whether you join my Discord or not. You know, that's completely up to you, and I'm happy to do it. But if you want more information, you know, to see our plays early, then check out the description and join the Discord. MOG is getting a lot of attention, a little bit for Turbo and Andy, Dion, Maga. Let's see, do we want to bring up one of these maybe? Probably none of those. I'm trying to find something that hasn't really gone yet. Yeah, see, there's ZRO again. So ZRO is getting a lot of attention, and this is a really high conviction purchase by a Smart Money wallet. I'm just trying to find, okay, NCAT, that's one we haven't brought up. WOJAK has been getting, you know, steady attention over the last, I'd say 3 to 4 weeks. SHOG is one we haven't looked at. I'm just gonna grab maybe one more. Is that it? GM, I know somebody in our group got into GM last night. Okay, let's turn this off. Let's start jumping through these and finish out this video. So ZRO, I need to look this one up. I'm gonna copy the contract, and then I'm just gonna paste it into Google and see. Yeah, there we go. It brought up a DEX screener. And I'm usually gonna look down here. Okay, do they have, I mean, this is pretty weak. They didn't put much effort into the, yeah, this doesn't look good at all. So, I mean, this one, what is it? What? 900 million market cap. I don't know what happened with this one. Anyway, something odd's going on here, and it looks like a honeypot or something, so I wouldn't mess with that one. This is, actually, I'm gonna skip BNB. I'm not really interested in BNB today. Well, we could look at WARPIE, I think. It's just an interesting name. Let's see what they got going on. So here's DEX screener for this. Pair has little liquidity, flagged as a honeypot, so we don't want that one. Always check first before you enter any of these. Here is Rocky. This is also on BSC. Yeah, it's flagged for a honeypot. You don't want that one. Got to be careful with memes. And that's why a lot of people are into the Cholo meme coin that we're doing, because they know us. You know, it's very rare that you actually know the people running the meme coin project. Yeah, here's another honeypot, so we don't want to be in that one. It takes a lot of discovery on these. You got to do a lot of research, but if you find one, there's the potential to make some money off of it. Yeah, this one doesn't look great either, but oh, this is the same one I looked at earlier. Yeah, so it's a honeypot as well. Okay, this is Neuracat, so this is an interesting name. We do have some smart money in it. Let's bring it up here. Sometimes you have to search a little bit more for these. And in some cases, I'll just get on the DEX screener myself and paste it in. What is this? Is it ETH? Yeah, okay, so it's ETH. So we'll go to DEX screener, and I'll paste this. Yeah, this one looks a lot better. We are at 2.4 million market cap. Looks like a community takeover. So, you know, sometimes those work out, sometimes they don't. So It says the dev sold and left. They took over June 20th, 2024. Was that today? Yeah, okay, so it's today. So this one, the dev got out really quick, dumped on all the people and got out. But, sometimes when the community takes over and they actually care about the project, oh, this one went big, didn't it? 48,000%. That's probably why he dumped. Yeah, it actually got #1 on the trending. So anyway, this is probably some kind of coordinated group that makes a lot of meme coins, and they just want to dump on people, and that's not the way to live life, in my opinion, treating people that way. So anyway, be careful with these community takeovers. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I would rather find a better option, honestly. And I'd like to find you one that's actually good right now. I mean, WOJAK is more established, so you can feel a little bit better than, for this one, but there are some smart money purchasing in large amounts currently. Let's just see one other thing here. There's a little bit of selling, a little bit of buying. It's mostly sideways. So maybe WOJAK's not so interesting right now since the volume's coming out of it still. But there's going to come a point when it's about 50% down when it hits around, and maybe I've got a chart on it for you. I may have made a chart. Yeah, there it is. I'll just show it here. So, it could be doing a little 50% retracement here, which it's hit it once. Could even come down to like 00066, maybe even as low as 00052. Those would be the value areas to purchase. Yeah, but it is bullish currently. Well, it's kind of got that gray area on the engineering robo AI saying that watch out, it could be turning bearish. Okay, so that's WOJAK, and this is SHOG. Let me see if there's any smart money that's been buying this one. Yes, so some smart money has been buying. And smart money, by the way, for Nansen is kind of like the top 1% wallets. They're not all great traders, but usually they're going to get into tokens early. But definitely get into their wallet and see, okay, when did they buy? Is their top 5 trades ones that they got into early? This is kind of a weird wallet. Check their P&L. You can see win rate, P&L, that sort of thing. I've showed that in other videos. I'll show it again sometime. So let's actually look at SHOG on DEX Screener if we can find it. Yeah, it dipped quite a bit. It found some support there. Decentralized network, okay. So explore open source and decentralized AI. It's 1.7 million market cap. It's got locked liquidity. Yeah, you just have to look into the project first and make sure it's something for you, is what I would say there. Chart's pretty much just sideways right now. I mean, maybe they're not doing any marketing, so it needs some more eyes before it gets going again. Sometimes you don't want to be in these until they get moving again. GM, this is a brand new one. Some smart money did get into it. Let's see if we got anything showing up on DEX. I think this is Ethereum, isn't it? And we're going to wrap up here in just a second. We got this one and one more. So it's up about 1,200%, 1.4 million market cap. It is a meme, world's most famous crypto word, and biggest Good Morning collection on chain, art production by Dark Farms. So this one is being marketed currently. It could end up being one that moves back up, maybe a little bit of a inverted head and shoulders here where it heads back up to here. Let's just see where that would put it. That's only a 2x if it gets back up to there. It really needs to get above all this price action to really get moving again. So if they continue to advertise and market, then this one could take off again, but volume's pretty low. And I'll show you just really quickly CHOLO, because I forgot I didn't show you what the chart looked like on that one that I mentioned earlier. It is on Solana. And we did just launch like 24 hours ago, so it's still pretty early. So notice how this chart looks much more steady. It's climbing up. It's we did have one bot buyer, a sniper bot that bought way down here, that dumped for just like 3 hours or so, and then it recovered. It fully recovered. So we're slowly pushing against this 1 million market cap. And eventually it's going to break out of there, I believe. We've got a big marketing push that's happening today. But we're doing marketing. It's got a really good story behind it. A lot of people plan to hold what they've got. We actually know a lot of the holders. But it's not advice to buy it. It's just letting you know this is another option out there if you are interested in it. Okay, what else do I want to show you? Okay, Singularity, AGIX. Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's a support level to me. I don't think I have this token. I don't think I have this one saved. At least not, yeah, I don't, okay. So if you like this token, it looks like it could be finding some support here, but just be aware that it could even come down to here where it first broke out. This is an area usually, how much down is that? Yeah, 50, 70, 90%. This is your value area in here that you want to look for, yeah. So, yeah, not looking bad at all. If you're looking to buy it, I mean. Of course, it's not bullish right now. But anyway, I'm going to end it there. This is already a little bit too long. I like to keep these 45 minutes if possible. So we'll end it there, and let me know if you have any questions. Hit the like, share with your friends, and hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. And I will be back next week for another video for you. Take care.